All right, I'm just waiting for him to give me the thumbs up on the Zoom, on the live feed.
Okay. You got like a whole crew back there?
Yeah.
How was your?
I always make things more complicated. Yeah, I was at a couple different ones. I was in Detroit, and then I had to go to one in California, and then next month I'm in Austin and Las Vegas. And then I got one here as well. So yeah, so I got 3 next month. So yeah, it's keeping me busy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're working on our newest project right now. And this is why we're trying to run around and trying to make everything work, because this is not normally our office. We actually just moved into this space. But I actually physically moved into a dealership. So over the next 12 months, I'm going to be doing what's called Extreme Dealer Makeover, where I've literally taken over the dealership's operations and processes and marketing efforts, and going to literally handle the entire thing. Me and my team is going to move in here and just crush the shit out of this place.
What brand is it?
It's a Nissan.
Nissan, cool.
So, which is cool because it's right now, as far as all brands go, it's one of those brands that needs a little extra help, and so yeah. It's not like I picked one of the easier ones. I definitely picked one of the ones that are going to be a little more difficult.
Yeah. Well, that's smart. I mean, yeah. Really is, because I believe in you, and you'll probably turn it around.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, for years, I have been, talking about, hey, do this, or develop out this process, document this process, create those efforts, and you'll crush it. But now I'm actually going to physically do the work myself, document the whole thing, and say, hey, remember how many times I said do this? Well, here's what it actually looks like when you actually do it, and here's the return on your investment when you take the time to actually develop out these things. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
What's the timeline, start to finish?
Well, right now we're going to start recording in October, and it's going to be 52 episodes. It's going to launch January 1. So we'll start recording in October so that we have a launch of January 1, and hoping to have 4 to 8 weeks worth of buckets kind of created out for that. But yeah, it's going to change pretty much everything. There's a whole whackload of vendors that have come on board with this, so they're participating in the program as well. So they're donating their time or their product or their service, to help the dealership get better. So yeah, it's kind of like an extreme home makeover.
Yeah. What kind of numbers are they at right now as far as sales? How many a month?
Well, it depends, but they float anywhere between about 60 to 75 units.
New and used?
Yes, new and used. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's definitely this is actually probably a good size. This is kind of more of a medium-sized dealership for Canada. It's not the huge monster dealerships that are used in the States, but it's a good thing that it's not that big monster dealership, because it's going to be easier for them to be able to pivot and move and come up and create new processes. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a fun challenge. So it's just me putting my money where my mouth is and saying, okay, I'm literally flipping the whole bill. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, the thing better damn well work. Are we live? We've been live the whole time? Oh, well, that's good to know. Okay, so Ty, what I'll do is I'll get us started, man, and we'll just literally just jump into the conversation. We'll take it wherever the wind decides to blow us. There is no particular space. There's nothing that we can't talk about or touch. We can talk about whatever the hell we feel like. So I'll do a quick intro. I'll ask you for a little bit about your background. We'll just get the show started.
Sounds great.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Jason. Hopefully you're watching this live. If not, you're listening to the recording of this. Today, I have my guest, Ty, and I'm going to let Ty introduce himself and just give him a brief explanation of what he does in the automotive industry, and then we'll get the conversation started. Ty, take it away.
Thanks, Jason. It's really cool to be here. I've been following you on LinkedIn. That's how we met. So
yeah, exactly.
Social media is amazing, and appreciate it. My background, I'm a vendor for car dealers. So I've been in the transportation side of this, what we call used car space, for 20 years. I used to own a large fleet of about 20 semis, and we pick up cars at dealerships, take them to auctions, and then from auctions back to dealerships. That's my brief background.
Well, it's cool because you really got your thumb on the pulse of, how the industry is moving. It's like I feel like if I was going to talk to anybody, to say what's shifting, what's different, you'd be the guy I'd want to come talk to first before I even have to see the numbers. You could tell me right out of the gate what's moving, what's not moving, right?
I do know, and it's cool because we're in a really interesting time from my perspective and my background, and we use the word disruption a lot. And some of the big players I see, or maybe not so big, but some of the disruptions I see happen to be like these online auction guys, ACV. Heard about them, right?
Yep.
And what they're doing with their dealers and their wholesales and their trades, which actually disrupts a guy like me because I used to pick up all the wholesales at the dealership, take them to the auction, sit at the auction, guys, wait, hang on, they're going to buy more and we're going to take them back. So our dollar per mile is stupid and we're happy about it. Dealer's happy, we're happy. But now you're taking the wholesales, you're leaving them on the lot. And it's still new. They're trying a lot of things, Joe and the gang over there. They're cool.
Yeah. So how does that, what does that do to your guys' industry? How does that change for you? Instead of having to, wait at the auction for that dealership to buy, 14, 15, 16, 18 cars, now there's kind of these one-off deals going on online. How do you guys pivot to kind of stay in line with the changes in the industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the reality of it is I don't have the answer. This is so fresh. I did read an interesting article yesterday, the Auto Magazine, found it on LinkedIn. It was Jim Hallett and Eric Longmiller, I believe. Mm-hmm. They're kind of the upper guys there at KAR Odessa auction. So really what I do is I follow a lot of auctions, the big boys, Mannheim, Odessa, and then of course our independent auctions. And now we enter into the realm of the online auction. What's that?
Yep.
So the article yesterday was pretty cool because Eric and Jim are talking about physical auctions are not going anywhere.
Sure.
They're going to be here and they're here. So when I read articles like that, it makes me feel good because you wonder what's going to happen. So I don't have an answer. I really don't. I think the bigger fleets, like I would consider myself maybe a small fleet, 20 trucks, and I don't have trucks anymore. I do coaching, consulting, training, and speak at conferences. That's my game. So the car hauling industry, like a guy like ACV, he needs these little bitty guys that have a 1 ton and a 3-car trailer, sure. And they just want to live off of a load board. They don't want to build a relationship with it. I'm a relationship guy. Yep. I want to get to know you. I want to become a joint partner with you. And that's really what I love about following you. See, people don't know I drive a truck. Look.
Exactly, right.
Or don't know that I know how to load a car or change a starter in the dark in the parking lot. I do. I've done it. But why do I look like this? Because you're the host. I got my horns.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I emulate. I look like my customer. I've followed digital marketing. I know CBD. I know fixed ops. I've never worked at a dealership ever.
Well, it's your commitment. It's your commitment to the industry. It's commitment to your craft. For you, this is not a job. This has been a career, right? And for you to stay in that career, that you need to know what's going on, right? Like to your point, you said you want to be a partner, not necessarily just a vendor.
Yeah.
So the value that you provide has to exceed the product or service that you're providing.
Right. Exactly. And knowing the stresses, and I don't want to make that a bad stress. But knowing the stresses of the dealer, and you had a blurb on LinkedIn the other day. I just loved it. Rent. Remember that one? The
yes.
Rent on space, anywhere between $100 to $300 a month per car per space.
That's what it's costing us, man.
And you look at interest. What's it cost today? $25 to $50 a day for interest.
Sure.
What's the electric bill for you guys? 10, 20 grand a month to keep the lights on?
100%.
And so as a carrier, we're kind of a weird bunch of people, honestly. I call it a dark industry. The car hauler guys are just weirdos. They don't understand.
Island of misfit toys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the more I can educate the car hauling industry, here's why car dealers are always fighting you and always, dang, I want my cars. I need my cars. Well, why? Well, it goes like this. What do you do when you go to the auction? You buy cars. who's the first call when you're done? I call the office. I call Peggy,
Yep.
Susie, whoever. I need a check now because I got to get the gate passes to my second phone call, which is me, Ty.
You got it.
Then my third phone call typically tends to be what? The service guy, the service department. Hey, I just bought 30 cars. Ty's going to have them here tomorrow. Clean the bays out. Let's go. So, you start talking to these guys. One of my favorite mentors, I love to mention his name, Greg McCoy. Mm-hmm. I'm from Joplin, Missouri. Been there my whole life. Currently, just moving around doing things. And Greg McCoy was a cool leader guy because he didn't ever talk to me. Never. He was the GM and he would never talk to me.
Nice.
But he put somebody in charge, Terry Wesley. Terry calls this car hauler guy. We're going to the auction on Wednesday. We're going to buy 30 cars. You better have your trucks. You know the game. You know the drill. We're not playing around.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So just little things like that, car hauler guys are just, what's going on? Why are these guys in such a hurry all the time? There's reason.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
So that's with the car hauling, it's funny because when I had my dealerships, it was the one thing that I didn't know who to call, right? Because it was fresh for me, so I was like, I literally had to call other dealers. I'm like, hey, who do you use? Because otherwise I went in line to Google to search someone. I couldn't even find I couldn't find anybody, right? So I just ultimately ended up asking someone for that, right? And I remember the first person that came wasn't overly impressed, right? Didn't even come remotely close to the time that they anticipated they were going to be there. Was total lack of communication about. I'm sure it was something simple. There was maybe some traffic or something like that, but there was no communication whatsoever, right? By the time they got there, the staff that were there ready to take these cars in and put them where they were. They'd already gone for the day. There was only two of us. We're just about to close. It was just, it was a total mess, right? Now, the second person I ended up using was absolutely amazing. With very high level communication, text back and forth. It was like, hey, this is what's up. This is where we're at. I remember they even sent me pictures. They text me pictures. They text me a picture saying, look, just this one's up here. This one's we're all loaded up. We're heading your direction. I was just like, the level of communication was huge. And I imagine that's an incredibly important part of your guys' business.
Absolutely. And, one of the fun things I like about following you on LinkedIn is that we can take what you're talking about and we can actually apply it to our business. A lot of this digital marketing, I do it all the time. Take a quick video on my phone while I'm at the transport parking lot at the auction. Here's your cars. Here's the truck. They're leaving, headed your way. Be there in 2 hours. Dude, they love it. It's awesome. It's easy.
Right. Yeah. I think any dealership that's listening to this, look, you guys, hell, if you guys don't have your process nailed down, it is straight up money. Wasted time for you is straight up money loss. There's no other way around it. Right. So, you guys have to process the living shit out of what you guys are doing. Yeah. Walk me through, what would be the typical process, that would be if you were going to the auction to pick up some cars? What are all the little moving parts that have to be put in place?
That's good. And here's where I like to start. I like to start with you, the dealer. Okay. And just like you said, and finding that guy, where do you find him, first of all? So let's just go ahead and skip to I found him. So ideally, if a carrier, in my opinion, is doing the right job, it is what you said, it's communication. So what I do every Monday, I shoot you a text. Where are you going this week and how many are you buying? Pretty simple, right?
Yep.
Let you know I'm catching you on the front end. I'm thinking about you. I'm planning on you going and doing something, and you're important to me.
So you would a proactive process. So you have a scheduled process. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be proactive in my efforts and reach out to the client. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm reaching out to you. You reply back, and when you have time, might be 4 hours, 5 hours, and I'm okay with that. Just as long as you reply, I'm going or I'm not going. And I know where you go because I've been spending time with you, right? So you say, I'm going to Kansas City, I'm going to buy 30 cars. Well, I've been doing it long enough. And I know if you need 30 cars and the market's high, you're not going to be buying 30. You're going to buy 20 or 15. But at least I know you're going. and I know you're buying something. So to be proactive, this is what I do, and nobody else does this, but I'm at the auction and I'm hanging out at the auction and I'm making sure that you know I'm at the auction.
There you go.
Right. And when you're done, all you have to do is hand me your gate passes. I've got trucks ready to go. We're loading them as live. I mean, this is happening after they get through PSI, after they get through arbitration, or all the ifs. Hey, I bought 20. How many are in post sale? How many are ifs? How many are in arbitration? Oh crap. Hey, I bought the 150 PSI 7-day guarantee. I need them home now. Right? There's reasons.
Yeah.
So catch the dealer on the front end. You're going, meet the dealer while he's there, load the cars, send the video. Everybody's happy. Right. So what I've been noticing, go ahead.
No. It's all about being proactive, right? And it's funny because I imagine that, you know, car hauling is a competitive industry, is it not?
I mean, not the way I do it. No,
not the way you do it. Okay. But I mean,
I'd say probably the normal guy that does it. Yeah, it's real competitive, and they're, you know, one of the things on the carrier side is and I talk to a lot of guys every day that are either getting in the business, need help.
Okay.
And one of the things I've noticed is nobody wants to talk to anybody. Car carrier guys, transport guys, got some kind of insecurity, some kind of ego problem that they just feel like, I can't talk to you. You're bigger, you're better, you're scary. I don't know what you are.
Okay.
But what I tell guys, I say, look, we're living in 2019. Social media is a big deal, and it's a huge part of how these guys sell cars. If you walk into that guy and he treats you like you're a piece of dirt, it's not good for him, right? No. He should care. I mean, he's not going to tell you, go away, I hate you. So what I'm trying to do now is work my way into dealerships. Okay. Because really, it's just like you said, these guys don't know who to call, and the people they do call are inconsistent. They don't know how to communicate. So as I start talking to dealers, first question I ask is, where are you buying cars, right? And I'm learning some crazy stuff I didn't know. Like, I thought everybody just bought cars at the same auction, 200, 300 miles away, every week, same cars.
Yep.
Not everybody fits that model.
No.
You know? Talked to a guy in Washington the other day, Seattle. He's like, yeah, we buy all of our cars in Pennsylvania and Florida.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Why? I mean, how long does it take to get them back home? What kind of mess do you have with that? What are you doing? Well, we have to buy those because we can't find the car we need closer. Now that makes no sense to me, right?
Well, you know what? But it's also just the way prices are, right? You know, for example, like for us, big SUVs, right? There's not a market for big SUVs here. There isn't. You'd be amazed how often we ship big SUVs down to the western part of the United States, because there just isn't necessarily a market. So cars, cars are going to have to be kind of moved around, almost like dominoes, right? There are going to be, you know, plus what a car can get, what we can get for the car is entirely different from the East Coast to the West Coast. You know, if I had a small pickup truck, all right, I couldn't get 2 pennies for it here. There's just no market for it, right? Yeah. But a small pickup truck out on the West Coast, it's a primo. It's a very desirable piece. Everybody's looking for it, right? So yeah, unfortunately, cars got to get moved all around the place.
Yeah, and that's where, again, I think if I can get into a dealership, find out what their model is, and simple questions, you know. And I train little guys that are coming in. I say, okay, if you don't like to haul big monster trucks and big monster SUVs and big monster vans, don't pull into the guy's lot that has all trucks, monster vans, and everything else big. You know, that's just kind of, and it's really crazy because you can literally pull into a dealership and you notice things right away. All the cars are lined up.
Yep.
They're all spaced perfect. Everybody that comes out has the same kind of outfit on and the same smile, right? And that's what I try to educate the carrier guys on is emulate, look like. You know, don't come in there with grease all over your face and pants and jeans and leave grease in the car. I mean, that's a good way to never do business with a dealer again, right?
Sure.
Take the time. And, you know, one of my favorites is look the guy in the face, shake his hand, and say something simple like, hey, I really appreciate your business. Wow.
And sometimes it's just that simple, right? And it's funny is you say that because actually on the automotive side, we're actually doing the same thing. For the longest time, every dealership out there, every salesperson out there was wearing a suit and tie. That
Yeah.
was the norm. You came into a suit and tie. But studies have been done and have shown that the more that we can emulate our customers and maybe wear slacks and a polo,
Right.
it doesn't seem as intimidating. Their comfort level with the dealership is higher, and they can get to a place where they feel more comfortable doing business with the dealership. They don't feel that it's this this big business type transaction. It can feel more like a family type transaction.
Yeah. And so as I approach the carriers and trying to shift over into the dealer side of things, you know, online sales. Let's talk about that for a minute. That's a whole new. Where's that going to end up?
It's new for everybody.
So you got, little Susie in the back room, but she's the online sales queen, right? And she's just selling them online all day long, and they're going to 5 states away.
Yep.
Who does she call? How does she get those moved? What is she doing? Does she even have a clue? Not on transportation. No. That's not her specialty.
It is definitely one of the last things we think of. I mean, really, no, it is. It's true. It's true. It is, right? I mean, we're so concerned with the transaction is that, what happens after we've actually completed the transaction is one of the last things that we forget about. But to your point, when we're selling cars online like that and we're transferring them across province or state or whatever, that is your last touch point. So the person that's going to be out there doing that is representing your dealership, right? So what are they driving? How are they pulling up? I recently bought a pre-owned vehicle from a dealership that's a couple hundred miles away from me, right? So they had the vehicle delivered to me. And the cool thing I thought was the person that delivered it, even though they didn't actually directly work for the dealership, they were wearing the dealership's T-shirt when they pulled up.
Yeah.
So even though they're not an employee, it was just like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing today. These guys gave me a shirt, so I'm going to put this shirt on when I go to deliver this car.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I thought so for sure.
And to me, that's the way it should be. You, as a carrier, you should have that kind of relationship with your dealer that they say, hey, I really appreciate you going and taking this car. By the way, here's a free T-shirt, throw it on. Yeah. It's beautiful. And then, we look at stuff like we're always keeping an eye on Carvana, right?
Yeah.
States, I don't know if you guys are watching them as close as we are, but I say they're presenting a false narrative. And here's why, because I'm a transportation guy. So you watch the commercial, I'm in bed drinking my nighttime drink, right? And I think, well, let's just get a car, honey. All right. Wake up in the morning, I'm drinking my coffee, looking out the window in my robe, and here comes my car and my Carvana truck.
Yep.
As a carrier, I'm like, stop. No, it doesn't work like that, right? But it is to me, if you take that and you really look at it, it is setting a standard, and it means that the carrier guys really should step their game up. That's just my opinion.
Well, so the entire industry is under disruption, right? I mean, it's not just it's. Here's what I think the biggest correlation between both our businesses are, right? And we feed off each other, which is really important. It's the little things. It's the little things that are going to make a really big difference. And there are changes happening. There's disruption happening at dealerships. There are people that own dealerships, and in 5 years from now won't own dealerships, just because they didn't take the time to change. There are people right now that are hauling trucks or hauling cars, and 5 years from now they're not going to be hauling cars because they didn't take the time to change and evolve as well, right? What I think everybody needs to really kind of ask themselves is how do I start modernizing my efforts? And I like the word modernize because it's not so.
I don't have a negative connotation.
Yeah, like it's a positive thing. It's just like before you just you'd call someone. How do you modernize your communication efforts? Well, you send a text. How do you take it even farther? Okay, we'll send a video and a text. It's just like, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing on our side as well, right? It's like how do we modernize our communication efforts? There are still dealerships out there. When you go to their website, you see their form fills. They ask for a phone number. That's it. Just give me a phone number.
That's it.
Like,
whoops.
Like, it's funny. We're talking about text, and everybody knows that if you want to get a hold of me, like text is probably the third or fourth form of communication on my totem pole. Like everybody knows, because I practically live on LinkedIn, that if you LinkedIn message me, you're going to get me within the first 5 minutes, because I'm pretty much there all the time. Right. I have some dealerships that will Facebook message me, dealer principals that will Facebook message me, because I'm already there. I'm on, they see that I'm on. So they're like, okay, well, I'll just message Jason. I don't even get a text or call. I actually get a Facebook message from them. Right. So I think, when it comes down to it, it's like, how do we modernize our efforts? We got to start asking people, like, how do they want to be communicated?
Yeah, exactly. Very important. And it's funny, I've got a meeting after this meeting with some tech guys. So car haulers are stone age, man. I mean, we are stone age, and we do it our way and blah, blah. So the tech guys are trying to figure out a way to connect the dealer, you, and the carrier, the Uberization of car hauling, right?
That's what everybody wants to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man, that's going to be tough. It really is.
Everybody's answer is just, let's just Uber it. We'll come up with the next version of Uber for it.
Yeah, and it's so foreign to me. I mean, I'm 48, almost 49. I feel like I'm an old guy. Social media has been really hard for me. I mean, this stuff that we're doing now, I don't mind doing it, but I think, oh, hey, this is different, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is really cool. I've taken some of your tricks. I mean, I really have. From a sales standpoint, and I show guys this all the time. So watch how easy this is. Watch. So I go to Facebook and we scroll through, and there's the car guy. He's got a picture of the husband and wife that they just bought the 2018 Toyota RAV4, and they're so happy, right?
Yep.
On the bottom of Facebook, you can like, comment, and share. I said, watch this. Share to my business page on Facebook. Count to about maybe 60. Guess who's my new friend? The guy selling the car, right?
For sure.
We're friends. And it's crazy, and it opens up a door. So to me, that's odd. I'm the old school guy. I just walk in, hey, how you doing? Let's do business.
Well, it's just a modern way of creating connections. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing wrong with it. The funny thing is, the process hasn't changed. It's just the tech has changed.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't necessarily have to walk in, shake the hand, and drop off some donuts.
Exactly.
You can do the same thing virtually, by liking and sharing some of their content.
Yeah. And it works. And, and this is what I tell car haulers all the time. I say, guys, look, if you ask Jason, how many cars did you sell last year, 2018, on August 22nd at 11:30, 12:30 p.m., Jason's going to tell you this many. He knows.
For sure.
And I call it residual income, right? I said, if you build that relationship with that dealer, and he's been around for more than a couple of years, I guarantee you he's going to buy more cars next week. That's what he wakes up every day to do, is to sell cars. There's your customer. There's your client. There's your residual income. All you have to do now is service and get the cars there as fast as you can and communicate along the way.
I think, look, at the end of the day, everybody's looking for a relationship. That's what it is. We all want a relationship. Look, when someone's buying a car, they want a relationship with the person that's selling them the car, so they feel comfortable that person's going to take care of them. When I got to hire someone to haul my cars, from the auction over here, at the end of the day, man, I just want to have a bloody relationship with the person. I want to know I can actually trust the person. If I'm in a bind or something like that, and I'm going to make a phone call, that's the person I want to be able to think of. Say, oh yeah, no, that I got that guy. It's just like there are two things that we value the most, right? And it's time and relationships. That's it. Those are literally, from just a bare bones human perspective, these are the two things that we probably value the most, right? So it's just, if you're hauling cars, you're selling widgets or Xerox machines or whatever the hell it is, right? At the end of the day, what kind of convenience can you bring, and how can you save that person convenience in the form of saving time, and and can you build a relationship with that person?
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right. I agree 100%. And it's funny. Like I said, I'm always talking to car dealers. I always want to know what's going on. So I'm in Missouri. I've run into this guy. I hadn't met him, and I like talking to guys I haven't met. Big guy, kind of scary. I'm like, hey, tell me a little bit about when you hire a sales guy. Like, why am I asking that question, right? Why? I'm not going to go work for you. I want to know if I want to come sell cars for you, what are you going to give me? What are you offering?
Yep.
What does that look like? I don't know. Well, right now we do straight commission, he calls it like a 250 spiff, or he had some cool name for it.
Flat.
Flat. And I'm like, wow. And so we keep talking. And he says, oh, one other question that we ask is, how many followers do you have on Facebook?
That's a good one.
Genius. And see, this is what's funny. A lot of people don't know this about me, but way before I ever got into car hauling, I've been doing it 20 years, but way before I got into that, I was a sales guy for investments, 403Bs at hospitals. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? But I'm reading Dale Carnegie, Zig Zig. I mean, I love this stuff.
Classics.
Yep. Yeah, all the classics. And that's been a while. So I'm reading all this stuff and I'm thinking, if you really watch what you guys are doing, it really has a look to insurance sales.
Yep.
We'll give you a small base. You can come on here and you sell our brand. Let's talk about Nissan. Well, Nissan, I don't know. Well, can we turn Nissan around? What about Volvo?
There you go.
What's in Volvo? And Volvo's, I don't know what you guys think, but Volvo is really putting some nice stuff out.
Oh, it's a great looking product.
Yeah. If I'm a guy that wants to sell cars and I've got followers on Facebook, I'm going to become, this is my brand and I'm going to sell the heck out of it. And it's kind of fun watching it from that perspective. Go ahead.
No, what I was thinking, when it comes to brand, see, and there's a little confusion about this a little bit, right? A brand is not necessarily what you do. All right. Your brand is actually more of what your passion is. Now, if your passion is Volvo, then cool, that can be your brand, right? But I think a lot of people get into this business and they think that they need to create a brand around whatever they actually do on a regular basis. For example, like my brand has been kind of moved into this direction of training and coaching and like operations and stuff like that. But the funny thing is, I don't do that. That's not actually what I do. I actually do marketing. But it's just, that's been kind of the direction. And that's what people kind of know me as far as the brand goes. Why? Because I'm super passionate about processes. I'm super passionate about operations. I'm super passionate about dealerships making freaking money, right? And not losing money, month over month, Yeah. So like, for example, if, you're a call hauler out there, right? But your passion is apple pie, then that is actually what your brand should be about. Now, everybody that follows you because you're so damn passionate about apple pie, all right, knows what you do for a living.
Right.
Because you're probably eating apple pie while you're hauling.
Exactly.
But see, that now gives you the ability to relate with the person, not just based on what they do, but actually what they're passionate about. And when people make content about what they're passionate about, that content is a hell of a lot different than just say, hey, doing this again, same thing I do every single day. Right.
Right. Talk about what you love. Right.
Yeah. I got a car guy, car salesman. His passion is Air Jordans. Now, I didn't even know that this was like a really big thing, but I guess that's because I guess I'm not in that area. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing, really. So he has an entire like podcast and Facebook page dedicated to Air Jordans, and his following is quite huge. But the thing is, it's not what he does, right? What he does is he sells cars. And everybody knows he sells cars, right? But they're relating with him on this mutual level of passion. So, but the amount of referrals that he gets on a regular basis is huge. I mean, the guy is selling between 10 to 15 cars a month from referrals from this audience because they feel like they know him. Yeah. They relate with him on his passion of Air Jordans, and therefore they're like, hey, one of their friends are looking for a car. I go, dude, I got a guy. I know a guy. Like he's right. Exactly. So, and I think that's what we have to look at when we're focusing on developing out a brand.
Well, see, so like questions. So I hear that I'm like, genius, right? So I think, well, how hard is it for a GM, AGM to implement that concept, that idea into the sales guys, the sales team? How hard is that, Jason?
Well, really what it comes down to is you're looking at, it's all comes down to process, right? An idea is only as good as how well we can execute it. Right. And for us to be able to execute any idea, we have to create and document a process. I mean, physically write it down, right?
Right.
Like you actually, it has to be a part of your training and coaching efforts to find out what these individual persons' passions are, right? And then you gotta be able to support them. You gotta support them in their efforts, right? Like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
your passion's apple pie. Cool, man. Let's give away an apple pie with every test drive you do. You know,
Mm,
like look, like, you could do the same thing for car hauling, right?
right.
Like, I mean, I don't know, Ty. Maybe you are an apple pie. I don't know. Maybe.
Mm,
All right. But wouldn't that be funny that you're the guy that not only delivers the cars, but every time he delivers a car, also delivers an apple pie,
exactly. Yeah. I
right?
get it.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, I like apple pie. You like apple pie? I don't know a lot of people that don't like apple pie. I don't understand. I never understood apple pie with cheese on top. That I don't understand.
Well, it's funny. It's been years ago, but I had some. This is true story. But I had some car dealer guys that were in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma only sells, I think, at the time it was 3.2 beer, right? So with every
Okay.
load of cars they got, I made sure I ran down to the local Quick Trip. I found out they like Bud Light. Get a case of Bud Light bottles. It can't be cans. Throw it in one of the cars, right? When
Yeah.
it gets to Oklahoma, they love it because they got 5.0 beer, man. Just
It's
drink it
right.
all day long. That's always the bonus. And I'm not a beer guy. I mean, I could probably drink a beer, but I don't. So I find out what their passion is and make sure that they get what they want. And talk about customer loyalty, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think, see, and I think that's kind of the point where the conversation where we're kind of going with this, right? Is that it don't matter what industry, what vertical you're in, all right? You, the customers appreciate the little things. It's the
Oh, man.
little things they remember. They don't remember these big grand gestures and these big things. What they do remember was, hey, do you remember the guy that used to haul cars and leave a six pack in them? That guy was cool, right? Yeah, he was.
Where's he at anyway? Exactly. And it's and so just that again illustrates to me the importance of getting to know your customer, which is what you're
Yes,
saying. There's the relationship. We got
exactly. See,
time, we got relationship. I had to spend some time with these guys to find out they hate 3.2 beer but love 5.0, right?
ugh, gross. It's
Just a
like,
good thing we never got caught.
yeah, no kidding, right?
Hide the beer in the trunk.
But no, look, I mean, I think this is a great thing. Anybody that's listening and watching this, this has been a great time jamming with you, Ty, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on and doing this. But hey, if you're going to take away anything from today's conversation, it's to your point of know your audience, right? Get to know who these people are. I don't care what vertical or what product you sell. All right, get to know who your audience are, and remember, two big things that everyone values: relationships and time. And if you can give them one or even possibly both back, all right, your perception of value is incredibly high. And it's not always about the money. It's about those two things.
Yeah.
Hey,
Money will come.
exactly, right? You know what? That's funny you say that. I actually just said that earlier today. It's like we're always so focused on the results, but we very seldom ever focus on the efforts.
Yeah.
And if we focus on the efforts and hone in our efforts, the results always are there.
Yeah.
But we're so
It's
damn
true.
focused on getting to those freaking results. So
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's another one we're going to leave with you guys out there watching and listening to this, is that we would love for you to go back and focus on the efforts and let those results come. But definitely focus on those efforts. Hey, for everyone out there that's listening, watching to this, Ty, and would love to learn more about what you do and connect with you, what is the best way to do so?
Uh, I'm a text guy, but I can give you my number and you can text or call anytime you want.
There you go. I love when people do that. All right, give us a number, Ty.
417 483 2764.
Now, if somebody calls you and asks you for a six pack, you'll know exactly where that came from.
I'll know where to get it too. It'll be there by tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
That's the way I roll. Get it moved.
exactly.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on. This is super cool, and I really appreciate you a lot.
No, man. Hey, thanks. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for jamming with us today. This was so much fun.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Is live feed off?